What's up, everybody? My name's Parasite. Welcome back to the Jose Mourinho Challenge with Sporting. Today we take on Benfica away from home and Porto at home in the league. I want to get to the games pretty quick because if things go wrong, this could be a triple header. We played 2 games since I last saw you. Beat Aruca 3-1, beat Braga 2-0. 2 wins we kind of needed to have. So I guess it's a 2-point advantage with the game in hand over Porto. So as things stand, if we beat Benfica, we only need a point against Porto to win the league. If we draw with Benfica, we need to beat Porto to win the league. And if we lose against Benfica, we need at least a point against Porto to have the advantage going into the final day. So lose against both, and Porto have the advantage, and it's all down to them dropping points on the final day, and I don't want that to be the case. I would like to end this by the Porto match, but, things have not gone to plan recently, so hopefully they will. Team we've got for this, again, like I said, I want to get right into the game, so pause it if you want to see it. Gusto picked up a knock, like a 3-week injury, so I gave him injections. I'd rather have him for 1 game than 0 games. And you can see the rest of the squad. Pretty strong squad. We're playing that asymmetrical. It's doing really well in the league. It beat Barcelona. Only 1-0, but it beat Barcelona. It needs to show up today. I want 2 wins. I don't want to put this into doubt at all. If you carry your last performance into this match, we'll do well. We can't win the title here, but we can set ourselves up in a very good position to be able to win it next week in front of our fans. And that's what I want to see. There's not a lot of games left. So I need to see you give everything you've got left in the tank today. We might be having a kickoff highlight. And it might be Origi threw on goal immediately. And they score within 10, 13, however many seconds. I mean, I don't understand. I just don't understand. It wasn't even like there was that. I don't know, dude. Just horrific defending. I think Navistic actually moved away. He moved closer to, I understand not wanting to concede at your near post, but don't leave a giant chasm on the far post that he can just easily tap it into. That was horrific goalkeeping, and we've seen that from him 1, 2, 3, 40 too many times. And now they have a corner. If they score here, we're not winning the league. If we don't get a decent result here and actually look competent, Porto are going to thrash us. So we need to see a response. And an immediate one, preferably. We're going to roll this out to Inacio. See if we can play from the back. We're going to go to Nuno Santos. Playing a left back for us today because Berben Johannesson has been absolutely horrific recently. Sesko has too, but he did score in the last match. The first match we played, we actually got a hat trick from DK. And I was like, okay, maybe DK's a new starting striker. Sesko's been absolutely awful. And then DK, in the next match, put up a 6.2. And Sesko came in and scored. So I just don't know. I don't know what to do. There is no right answer. The right answer here is Gonzalez to finish that. And we did. All right. I called for a pretty immediate response. And we got that. Pedro Gonzalez has had troubles in front of goal, but a good finish there. And we're back in it. 1-1. Now just keep turning the screw. Take advantage of this and just keep pushing on. Get even more. Nice ball over the top from Gusto. Good second touch there by Pedro Gonzalez to open up the angle. Keeper didn't stand a chance. This might be the last highlight of the first half. We're going to have a throw in down this right-hand side. Sorlot's going to pick it up. Going to go back to Polina. Into Inacio. Good ball player, so I trust him on the ball. Polina, he's playing as a halfback right now. I think it suits this tactic really well. And his skill set. Find Tellez on this left-hand side. Goes back into Sesko. Drops deep. Finds Pedro Gonzalez, who just dribbles around his man. Gets in front of the goalkeeper, but finish not quite good as the last one. And we're going to go into halftime with a 1-1 draw. I mean, we've been the better team. Of course, they have 2 shots and have scored 1 of them. But that shot must have had a pretty high XG. But still, only 0.5. How is Navistic on a 7? There's been 2 shots on his goal. 1 has been scored. What else has he done? He made 1 save and they're like, 7 rating. He's a god. No, he sucks. That isn't good enough. Absolutely unacceptable. It looks like you're sleepwalking out there. We're not just doing a poor job tracking their runs. We're not doing it at all. We look like a team that has nothing to play for. Not a team that's trying to secure a league title against their rivals. We need to up the intensity. Let's show some passion out there. We've got a corner. Tell us to take. 50 minutes in. Inacio, I think he's on, but really, I have no idea. Inacio's header gets saved. It falls to Ruan, who puts it in the back of the net, but could very well be offside. And he is offside. I kind of figured that I was leaning towards offside, but dude, let's see this. Wait. Oh, Paulinho's offside. I was like, Ruan isn't even close. They're calling Paulinho. He's in front of the goalkeeper, but like the keeper makes the save. So he didn't put him off because he made the save. I mean, maybe he palmed it into the path of Ruan because Paulinho was there. I don't know, but kind of on the line. 78 minutes in, we've not really done anything in the second half. We've still done more than Benfica, but Sesko, awful. I don't understand. He has like 35 goals, and yet he's just been absolutely horrific the past 2 months. DK, you're coming back on. You might have got a 6.2 last match, but you did score a hat trick before that, so do something today. 2 minutes left, and we've done absolutely nothing in the second half. They really kind of got in it towards the end of that half, and we just literally did nothing. We had, 6 shots. I don't think we saw a single one of them. 12 shots, 5 on target. 1.5 XG. And Gonzalez barely gets a 7, even though he scored a goal. I can't explain this team. I can't explain it. They're like destroying teams 7-1 at one point, and then they literally don't know how to pass the ball into the back of the net the next. I'm not impressed in the slightest in that draw. Everyone expected us to win, and instead, we failed to beat our rivals. It's another game where we've been the better team, but we don't get 3 points because our complete and utter inability to take our chances. This is getting embarrassing at this point. Looking at this league table, I guess I didn't factor in our goal difference because even with that draw against Benfica, we still only need a draw against Porto and we win the league because of our goal difference. Like, they're not going to outdo that goal difference, especially if they only draw against us. So, we do still only need a point. I guess, so nothing really changed between winning this match and drawing this match. But I still would prefer to win it, just so we're in actually good form, because I'm not feeling confident going against Porto. We can still afford to lose, but then we'd have to win our final match. And I don't feel confident doing that either. Mateus Nunes out 3 weeks because of course he is. We have been absolutely ravaged by injuries to end this season. Malo Gusto, we can inject him again, and I'm going to. We need him against Porto. He was really good today, even with that injury. He's going to be out over a month now, but we don't have games, so I do not care. We are back to play Porto, and I don't want to technically win the league today. I want to just legitimately win it by beating Porto. And because of that, I made a few changes, most of them performance-based, one of them because of injury. Nunez obviously got injured, so he has to drop out since he comes in. DK starting at striker. Sesko hasn't just been benched, he's been completely dropped. He's actually been worse than I even thought. He has 3 goals in 5 months. In all competitions. 3 goals in 5 months. Considering he has, 19 league goals and 27 goals in total, that's impressive. Like, the first 3 months of the season, he outscored all of those, and then since then, he scored 3. He has just been dreadful, completely dreadful. And it's the reason why we're out of the Champions League, because he's been a complete no-show, and he's our best player. He should be our best player. And, yeah, he's been absent for months. The only other change, Berganch is coming in at left back, because also none of our left backs have been any good. Bourbon Johansen is coming back from his injury, has been awful, and Nuno Santos was the worst player on the pitch in that last match. So Berganch is coming in, Santos completely dropped out. Those are the only other changes we made. Sorloth stays in, even though he wasn't very good, but Tabata hasn't been good either, so Gusto, with those injections, is still going to play because he's the most consistent performing player in our team. I did not expect that. And everything else is pretty much like it was last match. Like I said, I want to win this thing. I don't want to draw and technically win the league on goal difference. I want to win it. We need to show that we should be winning this league, because right now, it doesn't look like we should. I want the win here. That will crown us champions. Nothing less than the best will do. Right now, we don't look like we deserve to win this title. And unless you show up and do your jobs today, there's a decent chance that we won't. We need to start taking our chances. Because if you don't, I will find somebody that will. 35 minutes in, and neither team has really done anything until then. And of course, it's Daryl DK. I think it's going to count. I don't think they're even going to look at VAR right now. No, it's good. Pedro Gonzalez, whoever this is keeping him on. DK, good finish there. Pedro Gonzalez, a very good ball in. DK might be our starting striker next season. Sesko might have just lost his job. And we've got another highlight. 41 minutes in, probably the last highlight of the half. Let's score another one here. Give ourselves a little bit of a cushion. Nacio on the ball. Porto, we haven't even seen them on the ball yet this game. DK dropping deep to pick it up. Because I find Sorlot's got a lot to do. Gets blocked. Falls to Tellez. See if we can put a good cross in. Sorlot to the back post. Good save. But it still falls to Pedro Gonzalez. And we have multiple goals in a half for what feels like the first time. Well, I guess we just did recently. The first time against a good team in 5-6 months, it feels like. Sorloth heads it. Good save by Raya, but fortunately for us, it falls to Pedro Gonzalez, and he has a simple header into the back of the net that he scores. And we're going to go into halftime with a 2-0 advantage. But I don't want to just go sleepwalking in the second half and just, see the game out. I want to end this season on a high. I want to end the season strong because we need some momentum to kickstart us for next season. You might be winning, but that can all change if you let your performance levels drop. Don't let that happen. Just because we took a few chances doesn't mean we can coast from here on out. I still expect to see nothing but your best in this second half. First half of the second half is 50 minutes in. It's the first time I think I've seen Porto touch the ball. Ilkay Gundogan on the ball. He's going to find Tony Martinez, who's dropped deep and finds Moro. Going to find Mbimba out on the right-hand side, playing right back for him. Chancel Mbimba just beats his man, finds Tony Martinez, and with what looks like their first touch of the game, they get their first goal because Navistich literally can't save anything. I mean, it's hard to blame him completely because he's pretty close in and he was completely unmarked, basically. Inacio is just sleepwalking here. I mean, it was a good place finish, but still should probably not be beaten at your near post there. All right, 4 minutes left. I've made a few changes just to hold on to this lead. Gone very defensive, which might seem dumb, to go super defensive late, but the way I actually view this is kind of different from, I think, the way most people view it, just because of the tooltip. Its mentality is to frustrate the opposition by reducing space, slowing things down, keeping the ball, wasting time as much as possible, and clearing the ball long when out of risk-free options. So it's not just to sit back and just defend for your lives. It's possession and frustration is the priority. It's actually really heavily possession-based. You're making smart, obvious passes. You're not doing anything risky, which is what I want at this point. I want as much possession as physically possible. So I think to do that, going very defensive is the way. Other than that, we've wasted time. We're more disciplined. Regrouping, holding shape, slowing the pace down, and we've dropped the defensive line back a little bit, just to standard. Dropped the line of engagement back a little bit. Stopped to prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Tighter marking because they're more likely to try to attempt long shots late in the game, needing, really 2 goals. But a couple changes as well. Bergman Johansson's come on as that defensive winger, and Dyer's come on as a halfback because of yellow cards. And we're going to make our last sub here with only 4 minutes left. Who's going to be the last sub? I kind of want to take Malo Gusto off just because he's got that injury. He kind of deserves to get a little bit of a break, I guess. And even if they score, technically we still win the league. But like I said, I don't want to technically win the league. I wanted to win this game, and I would have preferred to have won it a little bit more convincingly. I'm going to take out Gusto, bring in Escayo. All right, let's see out these last 4 minutes and hopefully win the league. 2 minutes left. 1 minute left. We did it. We won the league, but in about the least convincing fashion possible. We absolutely have fallen apart to end this season. We won our easy games, but every single competitive game, we did not look good. We might have, dominated the match stats, but even then, we did not look good. Because we didn't turn those match stats into goals, and that's kind of what you have to do. At least we end this season with a trophy. Like, we did win the Allianz Cup or whatever it's called, but I don't care about that one. This is one a little bit better trophy to win. Porto pushed us till the end. Benfica really had a pretty poor season, which is surprising. But yeah, we destroyed them this match. Like, they had 3 shots on target, scored 1 of them because Vistic somehow gets a 7.1. Like, he makes 2 saves, he gets a 7.1. Their goalkeeper makes, what, 7? And he gets a 7.2. That doesn't compute to me. But we deserve to win this match. We probably should have been even better. But DK gets a goal. Gonzalez gets a tap in. And ultimately, a win is a good result. It's good to win the league, but I'm not super optimistic, at least for the Champions League, for next season. Because if we're struggling this much to beat Porto and Benfica, how are we ever going to beat the likes of Liverpool? Well done, lads. You've sealed the title with your performance today. And while I'm happy to win this title, to win this game, at home, in front of our fans, against a fierce rival that pushed us to the very end, I called for your best in the second half. And I didn't get anywhere close to that. Unless we start playing at or near our best for a full 90 minutes with any sort of consistency, the best thing we'll ever win is this league title. I hope you're more ambitious than that. Congratulations, Ryan. Tell us what winning the Liga Portugal means to you. I want to dedicate this to our fans. They're the ones we do this for. What was labeled as a huge match for Sporting, your team certainly lived up to their pre-match billing. You must be delighted with the result. I'm pleased we got the victory, but we won't get ahead of ourselves right now. That's for sure. Performance, still not good enough. We dominated another match, and it was still a narrow, nervy win. And we're never going to achieve anything unless we can convincingly win matches that we should convincingly win. We're going to end up beating Porto to the title by at least 6 points. Well, at most 6 points. 3 to 6 points, depending on what happens in our next match. But that match doesn't matter. We've won the league. We've done it with a game to spare. The season as a whole, though, looking back, still feels a little disappointing. Well, we've completed the treble, the league, the Allianz Cup, and the Super Taka. The board are happy. They're happy with it. We've won the league, 5 out of the last 7 years? That's pretty good, but we still feel like we're really far off from being able to win the Champions League. Malagusto, didn't it just say if I was going to give him the injection, he was going to be out 5 to 6 weeks? Now it's 2 to 4. Okay, whatever. Gonzalez gets man of the match for that one. He gets a goal, gets an assist. I mean, his goal was a tap-in, but it's still nice to see him score a fair few amount of goals this season. The most he's scored since he had that one really good season for us. 12 goals in 18 appearances, 17 starts. A few more appearances this time, 24, but he did get 12. And he was playing as at Mazzala for quite a bit of it. So, yeah, a very good season for him. In terms of average rating, the second best in his time here. Good to see him step back up, but it's going to take more than that. It's obviously going to take more than that because we were pretty comfortably beat by Barcelona. And the year before that, we were pretty comfortably beat by Bayern Munich. Feels like we're at the point where there's literally nothing I can do right now to win the title in the next couple of years. I've got 2 tactics that appear to work. I've got about as good of players as I can possibly sign. So, the only thing I can do is wait 5, 6, however many years it's going to take for all these regions I've signed to become world-class players and hope and pray I can keep them long enough that they can win us the Champions League. And nobody got time for that. So, I don't know. But I have a lot to think about this offseason. I don't really know where I can, significantly improve this team. Maybe we need another striker. Somebody that can be consistent and can score in big matches because Sesko has pretty reliably proven that's not who he is. Right now, at least, that's not who he is. And he's not really developed like I'd hoped. He's gotten a freaking lot of game time. And he's still barely developed. His physicals are in a pretty good spot, but I've seen them be so much better. His technicals have barely improved. And his mentals, again, maybe barely 1 or 2 on a couple of these, but I don't know. He's performed well in the league. He's gotten game time. I've done everything I can to turn Sesko into the world-class player we know he can be. But in the big occasions, he just has yet to show up. So I really don't know what I can do. Like, it feels, with the three strikers we have, like it feels like I shouldn't have to bring in a striker, but our problem is goals. Defensively, we did concede 4 to Barcelona, but they had like 5 or 6 shots on target. I think a lot of that is Navistich. Maybe I do need a goalkeeper. Even though I did just give him a new contract, which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, considering he's been pretty awful. But we'll look at his stats in the Champions League and maybe a little bit in the league next episode. That's what we'll do then. We'll go through the Champions League stats, see if they kind of back up what the eye test shows. If not, we'll have a lot more to think about. So we'll go through that, take a look a little bit in depth at some of these players, see where we need to improve in this offseason, if we can improve in this offseason, and try to set ourselves up to give ourselves another run at hopefully getting to a Champions League final and hopefully winning it. I've recorded this a few times, trying to summarize my thoughts on the season. It's so conflicting because when you look at this start, like, that's about as good as you could possibly ask for. It looked like we might be on for back-to-back unbeaten seasons in the league, and the Champions League going really well. 1-1 draw against Inter, but I mean, that was kind of playing the old way, which we kind of knew didn't work, but we still weren't sure about what we were going to do, and then we changed it up, and we looked really good in the Champions League from then on out. We got a good win against Inter, 1-0. But just in the big matches, the goals just never really came. And then we did lose. We had this bad stretch where just things weren't going right. But fortunately, we were able to turn it around pretty quickly. I mean, we changed formation. We went with that asymmetrical, and the end of the season, if you just look at it like that, that's pretty dang good. But sometimes all it takes is one result to make what looks like a fantastic season be a disappointment. And I feel like that's what this is. Losing 4-1 away from home to Barcelona in the quarterfinal turned all this success, it kind of made it meaningless because, you know what? Our goal isn't to win the league. We've done it quite a bit of times. I don't need to do it anymore. Our goal is to win the Champions League, and we feel so far off. Even though just a few years ago we were in the semifinal and giving Liverpool a hell of a game. But the last 2 years, we've been knocked out in the first knockout round after a pretty poor showing, and knocked out in the quarterfinal after another pretty poor showing. I don't know whether this 1-0 should make me optimistic or even more pessimistic, because I feel like we played about as well as we possibly could have, and we barely eked a 1-0 win at home with a penalty in the 81st minute. I don't know. I don't know how I progress from here, because I have to win the Champions League in either Portugal or Netherlands, and this is the best team in either Portugal or Netherlands by a margin. So if I can't do it here with the team I've got, I don't know if I could ever do it. It might just be a step too far. These super teams might just be too good. They have too much money that there's literally nothing I can do. It's going to take an absolute Leicester-style miracle for me to make it to a final and win it. And that doesn't come around very often. All we can do is try to give ourselves the best chance. Bring in as good of players as we can. Try to build as good of a tactic as we can. And cross our fingers that things just work out in our favor. I feel like as a manager, I'm trying like no other to do everything I can to win these kind of matches, and it just never seems to happen. We got that huge win against PSG, but even then, again, like this second match against Barcelona, I felt like we played as good as we possibly could have in this home match against PSG, and we barely eked out a 1-0 win. They had 0 shots on target. That is as good a match as we could possibly have against a team of that caliber. And we barely eked out a 1-0 win. So yeah, I've got a lot of thinking to do over this offseason. I need to make some big decisions and maybe some brutal decisions, because I can't just keep going the way I am, because it doesn't appear like, at least from what we've seen, that we're really making enough progress to be able to pull this off. We've got a big win against PSG, but even it wasn't convincing. We got a big home win against Barcelona, but even it wasn't convincing. So, yeah, there will be an episode tomorrow where we can kind of go through some of these decisions, but I'm not guaranteeing there's going to be an episode on Friday, because it's going to be a long off season. Not only am I going to have to do a lot of due diligence in the transfer market, trying to find as good of players as I possibly can to strengthen this team, but I've got a lot of tough decisions to make, and so it might take a few days. So, yeah, if there's not one on Friday, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to do this right, and I don't want this to drag out, another 4, 5, 6 seasons. Like, I don't want to be here 10 years just to win the Champions League once. Like, I've got a lot more I need to do, so we need to kind of do this as quick as we can. So, yeah, I've got a lot of big decisions to make. I'll see you next episode, though, so we can go through those decisions and see if we can kind of get to a better point, have some answers, because right now I just don't have the answers. See you tomorrow. If you made it this far, why don't you like the video, subscribe, and click the bell? The links to all my socials and my Twitch are in the description. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.